month.
Oh, it feels good here too.
Thank goodness. We do have a little lengthier bus meeting if our guests show up. If they don't, then we'll be out of here by now, no problem. So there is a sign-up sheet going around. Make sure you sign up for that. We get audited on whether or not you guys are attending all your safety meetings that you're supposed to be attending. We're gonna really crack down on them this year because we're required by federal law for you guys to do these, 9 a year, one every month we're here. And if we get closer to the end of the school year and you haven't done them, you get to watch fun videos on buses that are getting stuck in floodwater or drivers and how they don't know how to drive, or you'll be watching videos to catch up on your 9. So we need to make sure everybody gets these done. So please sign up. If we get to our second session where the gal comes in, we have somebody coming in to talk about special needs students. She's going to talk to you about autistic kids and how to deal with specific special needs on your bus. Even kids that are on the bigger buses that maybe need just a little bit more help on your bus, she'll be here to help you with that. They're supposed to be here. I've not heard anything for 2 days from them, so I don't know. We'll find out. All right. So first of all, I had like 9 people ask if they hang this on their bus. Please do not hang this photo on your bus. And you cannot put a club on your bus. So those are both nays. Don't even try it. Give us just a couple minutes, Lori, and Mays Elementary is the one that provided breakfast, so thank you to Mays Elementary for the bagel. With the sign-up sheet is a thank you card. Please make sure you sign that thank you card so we can send it over to Mays Elementary and let them know how much we appreciate the breakfast. This is a video. It's actually a sales video for bus, something bus related. But I want you guys just to see it because if when the video is over, a little heartstring pulls, you're going to know you're in the right industry. This is what we do is all about. Can you grab those lights and just turn them on for me, please? Sorry, I didn't know I was going to put you to work. Thank you.
I got you.
Oh, do we have audio? Sorry. Oh, crikey.
Here we go again.
All right. It's all yours, Miss Lori.
Bye.
Exactly. She's gonna show me like a Hallmark tearjerker. Like, no, just something in my eyes. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lori O'Toole-Busseld. I'm the Executive Director for Communications for the May School District. And Kathy invited me to come out and speak to you guys for just a little bit. And I was already planning on saying this before I saw the movie, but I kind of have a little bit of a story like that myself. I rode your school buses from grades 6 through 12. When I interviewed for this job, which I accepted 10 years ago, the first question the interview panel said is, tell me about your connection to the May School District. And I said, well, I met my husband on one of your buses for starters. And I see Sarah Hoke over there. Sarah knows this is a true story. I think Sarah got that movie going too, right? Yeah, I can tell. So anyway, and now my husband and I live in the school district. In addition to me working for Mays, we have 3 kids who have been bus riders over years also. I don't know, is Debbie Weaver in here? Where's she in? Okay, so thank you guys for taking care of my kids. And it really is when the bus rolls up, my kids get on the bus, and I know you guys have got them. And literally there are thousands of other parents in this community that feel the same way. So you guys take our babies, bring our babies home, so thank you for what you do. But the reason I came here today wasn't to try not to cry at a Hallmark bus movie. It was actually, I'm going to give you guys just some quick tips and tricks regarding communications. So you might think, I drive a bus, you're the communications person, like what do you have to share? But it's one of those situations where we train our teachers, we train our school building employees, but we want to make sure that we have a chance to tell you guys some things you need to know. We don't want you to be in a situation where you think, I'm in a tricky situation, I wish someone would have told me about this or given me a heads up. So I'm going to talk about a few different things here, and I wrote them down so I don't forget because these are important things. First of all, just know, obviously, you guys are out in our community every day, multiple times a day. If there is ever a media situation, and by the way, my background, I am a Mays High graduate. My background was in journalism. My first day as a crime reporter was September 11th, 2001. I covered, that's a different presentation. But I covered crime, government, features. I was an editor at the Eagle. So when I talk about media relations, know I'm coming at this from more than a decade of experience as a news person. So when you are out, you park your bus, you run into Casey's to get Diet Coke or something, right? And there might be a reporter in the parking lot, and it could have been me, like Sarah remembers back when I was a reporter. It could have been someone like me they're trying to do their job, you're trying to do your job, but what I'm going to tell you helps you do your job better, okay? If you're ever approached when you're out in the community by a reporter, they might think like, oh, I see you're driving a Mays school bus, I don't really know what you do for Mays, but there's this other burning news story about Mays and I need a quote, and that Lori girl's not calling me back yet, okay? So they think like, you're out at Casey's, you're gonna be an easy interview. So they're gonna say, hey, tell me about, like I heard the school board did this thing, like, what do you think about that, or can you confirm that? You guys have, not only do you have zero obligation to participate in that interview, but we don't want you to. Like, let me do my job so you can do your job. The only thing you have to say is call our district communications director. Don't say no comment, don't say I can't talk about that, because they can quote you on those things. They can quote you saying, I was told not to talk about that, or I'm not supposed to talk about that situation, but they can't quote, I mean, it would be a really dumb quote, right, if they said, call Lori or call the communications director. So that's the only thing you ever need to say if you're ever approached by a reporter, okay? So we're gonna practice here, like, hey, I see you just parked a Mays bus, and there's a news story that I'm trying to get a hold of. Is this true that this thing happened today?
I'm sorry, you need to like call and talk.
Oh my gosh, good job. She did it, she did it. Okay, so it really is that easy, and that way you don't get into, I will tell you, like, I got training myself, and as an editor, I trained other people on how to get sources to open up and participate in a story. And keep in mind, they're not bad people, they're trying to do their job. You're not bad people, you're trying to do your job. We can all do our jobs in a way that makes the most sense, okay? Then you guys don't end up on the 10 o'clock news or on the front page of the paper saying something that you felt like you got caught between a rock and a hard place and didn't really need to get into an interview. Any questions on that? Okay. I also want to introduce six weeks on the job today is my new colleague, Monica Springer. She's the multimedia communication specialist in communications. She also has Okay, social media, a couple things real quick. If you post something on your own social media account, you can be quoted by the news. Say it could be let's say, like Sarah Hook and I are actually Facebook friends. So let's say Sarah tags me on something and says, oh, poor Lori, it was a really hard day at work today, I bet, because this thing happened, and she tagged me. Well, now my 75 friends who work in local news see Sarah's post, and I'm not saying anything about this, but now they can quote Sarah, and they can maybe go to Sarah's Facebook page and see she works for Mays, and now all of a sudden Sarah's the quote. And I bring this up because we did have a situation, it's been years ago, but unfortunately it was an accident, not involving transportation. It was something, there was a natural student who died, kind of related to natural causes. One of our PTOs got on Facebook and said our hearts go out to the family of, named the kid, basically confirmed that the kid had died. I hadn't confirmed to the news they did that. So you guys could be in a situation where you're just trying to be a kind human being and offer condolences or tag someone on Facebook or something like that. Just know you can't ever, like I say, I can't take my communications director hat off. You guys can't ever fully put down your bus keys, right? Like when you're in the community, even on a weekend, even on a break, you're still a bus driver for Mays. You're still a transportation employee or a Mays employee. So just be aware, things you put on social media, even if you're sharing it, social media is tricky because maybe I only share it with an audience of 50 people, but I promise you, because I've been a news reporter and editor who dealt with this as a source, someone can screen grab that and send it to someone else. So don't be kind of tricked by, limiting your audience because it can still get out there. Does that make sense, or anyone have any questions about that? Okay. And then while we're talking social media, I will also just say, I'm sure you guys are all very wise, smart, people about about your digital footprint, even if you are on social media, but just be aware. You go out to a bar on a Saturday night and you're toasting your friends and you're taking selfies with margarita glasses and stuff like that. That picture you post is the same picture, the parents and the kids you're driving, or the media or someone else can see. So I'm just saying make smart decisions about those things, because something on one day that looks safe and fine, and you guys are all adults who can make good choices, but just keep in mind that those types of things could reflect on you professionally on another day or on a bad day. So just kind of take care of your social space and how it reflects you and how it reflects your job. One quick point about email. You guys all have a USD266.com email address. Because of Kansas open record law, those are all subject to public records request. So if I emailing someone about hey, just so you know, there was this kid on my bus today, and I told you what, let me tell you a couple things about how this kid is making my life really hard. Well, let's say that parent is gonna bring, a challenge against the district or something, they can literally say, I want any email in the USD266.com domain with my child's name in it, boom, your email's out there. So they can also request any email sent, I say they, any member of the public. I right now could go request to our board clerk, I want any email that Monica has sent in the last 6 weeks, or I want any email that Lori has sent about May Central Elementary, or we are public employees, and as such there are laws that our salaries and pay is open record, our emails open record. So if you don't want it in the hands of the families you drive for, if you don't want it in our superintendent's hands or the media hands, don't put it on your work email. Work email is for work purposes. So that's kind of scary stuff. That's wow, one wrong choice, could it put you in a pretty uncomfortable situation. But that's why I'm here, so you're in a situation that said, I wish someone would have told me that. I'm here telling you that today. But I'm also telling you, let me help, let Monica help. We're here to do these things, so you don't have to worry about, besides me saying thank you for taking care of all the babies, you don't have to worry about anything else that I jotted down to tell you guys about. So you guys do your part, I'll do my part and help you. And then we'll just, life will be easier that way. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to take questions if you have time, Kathy, or you guys are always free to, Kathy can reach out on your behalf, or I'd be happy to answer emails from you as well. Alrighty. Truly, thank you guys for all you do, and just keep these things in mind, and I sure do appreciate you guys. No homework. I got 2 more coming.
So, what did you get out of that?
No
No comments. Call Lori. That's the first thing I do anytime the news calls and say, hey, we want to do something. I'm like, you need to call Lori, don't talk to me. I don't talk to people, so. Facebook, I didn't realize that everything you said on Facebook they could use against you, so always make sure you're watching what you're putting on Facebook, don't comment on other stuff. And then watch your emails, what you're saying to each other through email. If somebody ever subpoenas that, you can't hide it. All right. Calendar. Halfway through September already. Got a couple birthdays. There is no school on the 28th and 29th for Mays or Mount Hope. I believe, is it Renwick is out as well? Who drives for Renwick? Yes, Renwick does have it. So then it must be Garden Plain is also out that Thursday and Friday. So, not Garden Plain, sorry. Mays is out.
Valley Center.
It's Friday. Yes, sir. Yeah, if you drive for VOTEC, they're still in session on the 28th, so if you don't want to run it, you need to find somebody that will, okay? Because they're still in session, we still have to have a bus for that. Next month, Renwick is out the 5th and 6th. We got more birthdays. St. Catherine doesn't have school the 12th or 13th. Safety meeting on the 13th, since the 15th is on a weekend. No school on the 16th, Liana's birthday, got a couple more on there. And our other folks must not have showed up, so it'll be a shorter meeting. All right. Driver and para of the month. Drum roll, please. Driver, Desiree. Had a couple of nominations for Desiree. She has been awesome. We have a lot of you guys that are awesome, so honestly, it comes down to what you guys turn into us. Desiree, everything that we've ever asked her to do, she's jumped right on it. Trips, she's been a para, she's been a driver, she's been awesome. But lots of you have been, so don't feel bad if you didn't get it yet this month. All right, para. Molly, again, we have moved Molly all over the place. And she has taken it with stride. She just, whatever you need from me, she is on it. And I gotta tell you, how long have you been with us?
4 years coming October 1st.
When she first came to us, don't take offense to this, she was a greenhorn. She was a greenhorn para. Never done it before. We had a lot of learning to do. And I gotta tell you, you have made leaps and bounds, my friend. You have done phenomenal, and we're super excited to have you back this year. So, nice job. So they both get parking out here, specialized parking out. You don't drive, but you know.
No, but I'll have Debbie.
There is specialized parking out in the parking lot for those folks. So, congratulations. Bus evacuation. We're not going to do it this month. Usually we wait till October to do it. If I forget, it might be November. But we try and do those in October. So we'll come out next month and we'll let you know what the schedule looks like for our bus evacuations, when we're doing them, where we do them. For those of you that are new, we'll cover all of that for you so you know exactly what's going to happen. If you are not sure how to handle a bus evacuation, even though it's a drill, you need to get with your trainer and find out how that gets done, because it's important that you know how to unload your kids off of that bus in the case of an emergency. Okay, so if you don't know how to do it, you need to get with a trainer. If you're not sure who your trainer would be, come see me, Chris, Tony, one of us. We'll get you some help. Okay, but learn it before we do the drills. This is what our evacuation drill form looks like. We are audited by the feds for this. We have to turn these in. They need to be legible, and every single person has to do it. Minibuses are the exception as of right now. Okay?
Are those in the drawer where the maps are?
No, it should be in my back wall, right?
We always put them in the box.
Right, before the drills, we'll put one in your box. A copy of this form, and then also a copy of the schedule, when you'll be doing your evacuations and where. We'll talk more a little bit about this next month as well, but we'll talk about where the emergency exits are and how to talk that over with your kids. Maps. Any questions on emergency evacuation drills yet? Okay. If you think of them, we'll do it, we'll definitely go into more detail next month. Maps should be done by now. Make sure that you need to get a copy into the cabinet, in the break room. And you also need to make sure Joy has looked it over and signed off on it, and make sure that it matches our computer system, especially your times, because if Michelle has a parent that calls in and says, I missed the bus this morning, I don't know how we missed it, we were there, you guys called us at the beginning of the year, said it was supposed to be at 7 o'clock, and Michelle's running it at 6:45 now. Well, if my system says 7 and she's running it at 6:45, I can't give the parents the right info. Does that make sense? So you need to make sure that your times, if they're not matching, come in and let us know so we can change it, so we can give them good information when they miss the bus for whatever reasons. Okay? Every stop you make on your route needs to be in our system. We're getting ready to go with a student ridership program for those of you that have been with us a little bit. It'll run a GPS on your bus. We already have GPS, but it'll tell me where you're stopping, how long you're stopped, if you're using your yellows, if you're using your reds. It'll give us all that information. And if you're stopping somewhere you're not supposed to stop, it's going to red flag us and say, hey, Bus Michelle is being a wackadoodle and she's stopping somewhere that's not on your map. So we're going to get dinged every time you do something that you're not supposed to, stop-wise. So if you have sweetheart stops, if you have a kindergartner and you're doing a sweetheart stop for them, that's fine, but you need to let us know. Okay? Kindergartners are your only exception for sweetheart stops. And it can't be every other house. If you've got 4 kindergartners on a block, they can meet in the middle. It's okay. They can walk a little ways. Any questions on maps?
So I was on her house today, and she does a sweetheart stop for, I think, a 2nd grader. It's only, they said it's because he's been, they've always been picking him up there. They've never picked him up the corner that's like from me to that, like, corner of his house.
I will get with your driver.
What is a sweetheart stop?
A sweetheart stop is, all of our stops should be at corners or at mailboxes. That's our standard for stops. So if you're stopping in the middle of a block to pick up a kid, and it's not at a mailbox or a corner, that's considered a sweetheart stop.
Community mailbox.
Huh? Community, that's a good point. It's the community mailbox, it's not everybody's mailbox in front of their house. Good call. So, yes,
Hey, Kathy,
yes,
Emerald Bay,
yes,
some of those do not have corners.
you're right.
You have to go by address only,
That's correct.
because it's so far apart.
Yeah, there are definitely exceptions.
Light bulbs.
Light bulbs are another one we can use. So the thing is, when they call in and they say, hey, I want my stop moved, my 3rd grader has to walk 4 houses and I can't watch her, and blah, blah, blah. I need to be able to count on the fact that you're stopping at light poles, mailbox, community mailboxes, and corners, because those, what did I say?
Corners, but intersections.
Intersections. I said, and those are our standards, so when I call and they want to feed me some garbage that they want their kid picked up somewhere else, and it's ridiculous for your route to make an extra stop, I need to be able to go back to those standards and say, look, this is where we do it. And they say, well, the other bus comes through here and makes 5 stops on my block at every house. How am I supposed to justify not stopping your bus in the middle of a block if somebody else is abusing the system? Sped buses are the exception.
Are pickups as important? Like, let's imagine you got a parent that's like, I'm late to work every day because of this 10-minute delay, and I can't get you to change my bus stop to be the first one. Well, a workaround might be to say, well, I am at this bus stop at this time. You're welcome to wait in the car and like your kid get on at that bus stop. Is that?
That gets tricky because now you're using somebody else's home as a bus stop, and without permission from that homeowner, we really shouldn't be doing it. So, I mean, if they're sitting in their car on the street or something, I suppose that one gets tricky. We probably have to look a little more into that. Our job is not to tailor to every parent because they can't get to work on time. That's their job to figure that out. We run our buses the best way we can run them, and you guys know as well as we do, we got a ton of kids out there we've got to pick up. I can't tailor to 5,000 kids. There's no way we'll ever make it to school. But if you have a specific situation, talk to one of us and we can look at it. Yeah. Typically we wouldn't do that because, first of all, you're giving an address for somebody else to somebody.
It's a community stop, not a kid stop.
Okay, And that would be different then.
Like what you just said, like the intersection.
That would be fine.
In the mailbox.
Yep.
Saying I'm at this stop, not this house.
I
I'm at this
was
stop.
thinking sped, since you're on a sped bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just thinking.
Generic stop, that would be, if they can't make it, but they need to call us and let us know if they're wanting to try that.
All right, so I have a stop on Ridge Road, there's 2 houses, right? When the route was given to me, I only had 1 student assigned, well, now this other boy I picked up there, the grandma gave me a letter, a handwritten letter saying that I will stop in front of the house. So okay, because I called her, I was like, I'm not, no.
She can send it to us.
Yeah, let's try.
They can't decipher our
Well, I
routes.
called her, I was like, look, no, I'm sorry, like,
They
no.
don't dictate that.
Did somebody else have a question? No? Okay. Good questions. I'm gonna have to move, I can't read. All right. Oh, absolutely no phone calls or texting while you're behind the wheel of any school vehicle. That doesn't matter if it's a yellow bus, a white van, it doesn't matter what it is. Your phone stays put away. The only exception is if you're driving and you're using it for GPS. You can always, but you do your GPS before you leave. You don't sit at the stoplight out here and go, and then put it in. That's not, no. If you're behind the wheel and your bus is not in neutral and the parking brake is set or in park, you don't touch that phone. It has to be set before you leave.
That's just for the drivers?
Paras are not supposed to be on their phones either.
Okay, because I gave pretty much all the parents my phone number, text me. So they've been texting me if they're not riding or they are riding. Can I not do that?
Not while the student's on. You don't need to be on your
I
phone.
mean, it's been really helpful.
When I'm waiting at the school, I check to see if the
That's
parent
fine,
is
'cause you're in
texting.
park.
Okay, because I'm in park, yeah.
Yeah. Good question. All right. When you're on the radio, please do not mention the name of the student, full name. Don't tell them Christopher Maximilus Rasmussen, or whatever it is, who lives at 1200 North Wackadoodle Lane. Don't give all that information over the phone. There are a lot of people out there that listen to the radio, that we don't have a secure radio line. Anybody can listen to it. So when you give a student's information out, if there's you guys know what kind of sick people are out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds of trafficking going on, molesters, I mean, they're all over the place. And boy, do they love to listen to school bus radio traffic, because somebody's gonna screw up and give out some information, and they're gonna know what kids at home by themselves and all of that information. So please do not give this kind of personal information out. Yes?
What about the ones in the office giving it to us?
We've discussed it in the building. You'll notice lately we'll text it to you. Now, when we say that, understand you can't pull your phone out at the next stop sign and look. You need to pull over, check our information from us, and then you can move on from there. But we have started, in the office, we've been all instructed, we're gonna start sending you a text if it's an address.
Is there any way we can get clocks, like little, even little tiny ones? Because I use my phone for to see what time it is, to see when I'm at a stop.
School Bus Appreciation Week is coming up. If you want that as one of your gifts, we can do that.
See, it was nice that the
Because a lot of the buses.
camera system was
clocks
bad,
on there.
because it was
You can get a watch.
the same clock.
I mean, it's a hell of
On
a
the
business.
Yeah. What did you say?
It's a hell of an invention.
That's for iWatches, so. I don't have an iPhone, so that doesn't work.
Hey, they got Samsung.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
YouTube video.
Okay. If you need help, he says there's a YouTube video to help you set your bus clocks. I know not all the buses have them. We'll look at getting everybody a clock. One of your gifts. It goes off. Oh, yeah. Lose it, yeah. All right. Work orders. Make sure you're filling those out. Put it in the note remarks of your pre-trip inspection sheet. So on your pre-trip inspection sheet, that's the one you fill out every morning. You check mark all your tires are good, your air brakes are good. If something malfunctioned, make sure you're writing it on there. Don't check mark that it's okay and then put down at the bottom, oh yeah, by the way, my red lights didn't work this afternoon. If you check mark that box, it's done. But if you don't check mark a box and you make a notation out to the right, that remember it's got that longer column on the far right, my red lights didn't work on whatever day it was, write up a work order for it. I'm gonna cover it here in a minute, but make sure that you're only writing in the top portion where it says driver's notes, or driver, whatever it says. Make sure you're only writing in the top. The rest of the page is for the mechanics. We have to do audits and all that stuff with all the rest of that information, and it gets hard to decipher yours between theirs. And sometimes you guys aren't leaving them enough room to write in there. So make sure that you only write here up at the top. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, this is out on that board, the cork board outside the break room. Don't write on the rest of this form. Okay? Questions?
Yes.
Yes.
You said on the checkoff sheet that we do every day,
Yes.
we are just to put it out, write it out there on the side.
Over here.
Okay, but if, don't you have to have the database working, all
Yes.
working before you can pick up children?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So if they're not working, you need to fill one of these out and give a spare. Yes, sir.
On the pre and post trip, do you want each box checked? Because I was doing that, and they said there's too many check marks.
Each box.
Each box.
I don't know what you mean.
All of the
That says,
Only
That's
check
right.
You only check what is wrong.
That's what I'm.
Otherwise, you go down to the bottom and check, everything is okay.
Yep.
yeah.
So you can go, if your bus is great, you just do a line down through the middle, and that'd be fine. And put a check mark in the, honestly, the bottom mark is the only mark we need, no defects. Okay? All right. You are required by law to fill out those pre-trip inspection sheets every single time you drive. So every time you sit down behind the wheel of that bus, you need to be filling this out. We're required by law to do this. You are a CDL driver, minibus driver, van driver, it doesn't matter what you do. You are required by law to fill these out. We have to have them. You need to make sure you're writing your mileage on them. You need to make sure that you sign it. She's getting a ton of them back there, nobody signs it, and there's no bus number on it. I have no clue who this belongs to. Okay? Yes?
So, like, I drive another bus at Newside, Ready has built that one out too.